welcome to Real Talk. I'm Eklund Anderson, and this is my co-host, Denise Eaddy-Richardson.
Hello, everyone.
Here on Real Talk, we focus on family, health, community, restoration, and church, giving real solutions from the Word for very real problems. We had such a great time last week, we couldn't let you go before hearing more about your journey. Welcome back to Real Talk, Tina.
Thanks for having me.
So in our last episode, we talked about your weight loss journey, and we had such a good time. We really didn't get into everything that we wanted to discuss. So do you have any encouraging words for some of us out there and some of our viewers who would like to lose weight and need some encouraging words?
I would say that don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. If you fall off, give yourself some grace to get back and just start all over again. Just get back on it. Don't wait forever. Just get back on it. Don't rehash what happened yesterday. Today is a whole new day. The day that you just keep going. Don't stop. And continue to keep supportive people around you. Don't get somebody around you who want to just mess up your whole your progress. Yeah, but just don't stay down. Even if you mess up one day, okay, shake it off.
That's some very good advice, because I know sometimes I've gone through that journey, losing weight, gaining it back, losing weight, gaining it back, and you kind of want to give up. So I think it's very good advice to tell people to just keep going. And one thing you said in the last program, you talked about being honest with yourself. And I thought that was a really good way to look at things, because sometimes you want to perceive that you're smaller than you are, that your health is not as bad. And like you said, it's really good to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
All right, Tina, we know that your journey has included more than weight loss.
Yes.
We applaud the weight loss, and it's no insignificant thing. You've done a wonderful job, and I've enjoyed watching you go through this process and try to be a side cheerleader. Okay? But we know you've worked and recently retired. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your work?
I recently retired from Washtenaw Community Mental Health. I was an employee for Washtenaw County for 23 years. And I retired. And they really liked the work so much I did that they asked me to come back as a temporary trainer for new case managers coming in. And I do it part-time. And I love this part of it because I get to train the new ones and give them tips and just help them and encourage them. That because the job, being a client service manager, can be very stressful and hard.
So give us more detail about that job.
Well, I've worked with clients who they're adults with mental illness, severe mental illness. Some of them were, different diagnoses like schizophrenia, borderline, bipolar, mood disorders.
So what was the intake process for this one?
Well, to start, usually you could reach out to Washtenaw County Community Mental Health Access Line, and that number is 734-544-3050. And you can get your services started there. I know some clients, they end up in the hospital, and they might get court ordered to start mental health services, and they send them to us. Sometimes their relatives might call and want to get help. We even have services for children. We also have services for people who suffer with developmental disorders. So we help a number of people in the community.
Did you have a specific clientele within the adult population?
No, we dealt with all of them. All of them, from severe to even if they're level 1, or less severe, but we dealt with all.
So I imagine if some of your clients were court ordered, some of your clients were referred by others, like family members were calling on their behalf.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not all of your clients were ready to receive the services that you offer. Tell me how you would deal with a reluctant client.
Well, I dealt with them with encouraging them to, get the services, even if they were court ordered. I would try to say, well, it's not like it's something you have to stay on forever. I give them examples of clients who were court ordered and they went on to get jobs, and just you would never think that they even started out on a court order. I said, just kind of put that to the back of your mind right now. That's what I try to tell them. Let's just work on like how you work out your body, or how you do anything else that you like to do or what you want to do. I said, just look at it, this is a way to take care of yourself. Just like if you had high blood pressure or diabetes or something. You're dealing with your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something you really need. And every time you keep going back and forth to the hospital or to the doctor and stuff because you stop taking your medication, you're doing more damage to your brain, the chemistry, everything. So let's get this on track so that you're able. I said, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? I want to go back to school. I want to get a job like a normal person. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I say, and you can do it. You're thinking you can't, but you can. And I give them an example of someone who started out with them, and now he's no longer getting Social Security for his mental illness. He's now like a major worker at his job, like a leader.
That's a great example.
So you instill hope.
Yes, because a lot of them feel like there's no hope for them. They always going to have, and they might always have this, but you can control it with medication to get the brain chemistry together.
So how hard is it for you to help them understand, or for them to understand that what they're experiencing is a chronic illness with symptomology that ebbs and flows?
A lot of times I try to encourage them to go to some groups where they're around others who are who struggle with the same things they struggle with, and it's good for them to see how other people who are in their situation, who was, and still is, but they've improved so much that you
wouldn't know.
Right, you would know. I mean, because they're doing so well. So it's good for them to see that, and sometimes, and it's really hard, especially for the younger ones, because they want to be so much like everybody else. They see their friends going to school, they see their friends doing all this stuff, and now here they are at a standstill, it seems like. And they want to be so much like them, but then at the same time, I don't want anybody knowing I'm coming here. I don't want anybody to know this. So it's like me trying to encourage them, well, try this group right now. It's like a co-occurring group. And that way you can see how people in a group use each other for support. And you'll see how a lot of them, their lives have improved. You get to actually hear and see how you're not stuck at this one level. You can get better. You can. I always say you can. You can. What do you want to do? How about getting a goal together? Because we sit down and do a goal. How about we do this? What do you want? I want to be able to go to the store and be around other people. Something so simple that they can't do because being around people causes them anxiety.
Because they have a brain illness.
Yes.
So do you partner with physicians for your for the people that come and work with you, your cases?
Well, we have like psychiatrists there who specifically work with, prescribing the medication for their mental illness. But I notice some of them don't have a primary care physician. Because I tell them, if you're also suffering from other chronic illnesses, like far as with their physical health, that can affect your mental health.
Yes.
For example, glucose.
Yes.
It goes up and down and up and
Yeah.
down.
Some of them don't even know they have high blood pressure or diabetes or, just lupus. I have pain all over or fibromyalgia. I mean, and that affects your mental health.
Yes. Do you guys offer, assist them with getting health insurance or?
Yes, because you have to have because most of the time they do qualify for some type of Medicaid or something like that, and they may not know.
Right.
So what if you have people who are uninsured, would not qualify for Medicaid? What do you do with those people?
We also have something called the Washington County Health Plan, and sometimes they can help with getting on that plan too. And they is a wider range where they accept people. They might still work, but they still may not have medical insurance. So they can go through them to, with Washington County Health Plan, that they will help them with seeing about getting qualified for.
So Washington County has a lot of resources.
Yes, they do.
To help people with mental health. They just need to access. Okay.
Yes.
And we're gonna have you give that number again later.
Okay.
Because we want people to have the availability of accessing mental health.
And then like for my health,
providers.
with the diabetes, you can, like you said, at Google, and it will affect
Absolutely.
how you feel.
Emotions.
Yes. So it's good to have all that. It all goes together.
The
It all.
lymphatic system goes
Yes.
crazy. Yeah. Okay. How often do you see your clients?
Well, we had to see them on at least a monthly basis. Some of them, when they become improved with their health, you can maybe go like a little longer without having to see them. But they would also, most of them would be in groups. You can see them then, or I have to see them at least. I would have to see them at least once a month. And then they have to see the doctor, the psychiatrist, to work with their medication. So you probably can see them maybe a couple of times in a month.
So let's say you have someone come in who's acutely ill, schizophrenic, not taking medicine, so really,
more often.
how often would you see that person?
I would like to see that person at least like once or twice, or maybe it depends, like weekly at first, especially if they're coming right out the hospital. For that month, I gotta see them at least once a month. I mean, once a week at least.
Do you guys offer housing for your mental health patients?
What we do offer is we will refer them to the first we'll refer them to Hawk. And that's the Housing Association of Washington County. There is a housing crisis, trying to find affordable housing and things like that. If we find out about like some type of Section 8 that becomes available and open, we would help clients with signing up for it to get on the list. But we most definitely will get them connected to that Housing Association of Washington County.
Yeah, because you'll find now that there are a lot of people out in the community that are homeless that have mental health issues. So that's why I asked the question as to whether or not you guys assist with making sure that they have a place to go.
I wish we did have more affordable housing, because there is a serious crisis here. I think they're working on, I think they maybe have gotten some funding to help with that more. I kind of found out when I went to one of my retirement meetings, and so because I
retirement
asked,
meeting.
yeah. So when I asked, they were saying how they were, looking into that, because there is a crisis now.
What percentage of your clientele would you say are homeless?
Off the top of my head, especially now, I couldn't tell you, but I don't know. It's it's more than I'm comfortable with knowing. When I hear, even like now that I'm retired, and when I go back to work, 2 days a week, each day I always hear about a client who doesn't have housing. And part of the problem is too, is that a lot of landlords sometimes, they don't understand working with having clients who are mentally ill.
So with your department, does it work at all with the police department and helping them to understand
Yes.
how to work with people who have mental illness?
Yes. I know that they have really, like my supervisor, she's been trained. They have people who have been trained to work with the police. So when they get these calls about, the police will call us and say, hey, we got one of your clients, and from what we know, and can y'all come out and help us with them? A lot more of that has been going on, and they've been specifically training a lot of staff to be able to work with clients when they get like that, when they're out of control, because they know us. So we go out and like, hey, we're here, come on, just to help them, because they're our clients, so they know us. When you get police, they don't know them, so they have been more proactive with that.
That is so encouraging, because so often when police go out, they're not trained how to deal with the mental health issues, and sometimes police equal fear for a lot of people.
I just help with the training. They asked me to go in, me and a couple of our staff, and I was like, wow. So I'm going in there, and these are police officers who've been police officers for like years, and they're getting trained on how to interact with our clients who are mentally ill. And it was interesting how they had these scenarios set up just to train our client.
Right.
Train them on how to work better with our clients.
That is so important.
Yeah, because they're trained to protect and serve. They're not used to dealing with people who have mental health issues, and rational issues for them can turn into gunfire, and a loss of life. So it's good that you guys are,
There's been some training.
have given them
now,
some training.
which
That's
is
important.
a good thing. Yeah.
That is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Minister Tina,
Can't forget, that's the best part.
tell us about your call.
You know how you have dreams?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having dreams about being around a lot of people and praying with them. And you know how you just have dreams and hugging them, and I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute, what's all this? Dreaming about that. Like, wait a minute. I'm used to, like, I come from a family with a bunch of preachers, and yeah, that's them. That ain't, I do some singing, but I'm not trying to do all that, preaching, and no, that's not me. But boy, did I don't know what to call it, that push, like, I'm telling you, like, it's like God just telling me, no, you might think what you want, but I want you to do what I'm telling you to do. So I remember one time I was asked to do a solo. And it was a song I've been doing since I was a teenager, like 13.
Give us some time reference for this. How old were you?
This was recently with when I came to Strong Tower.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this had to be like, I don't know, had to be about 6 years ago. And I was asked to do a solo. And I'm like, okay, I get up there like, oh, I sing this song all the time. I ain't got to worry about nothing, I get up there, and every time I tried to sing, I couldn't. But when I started talking, I could. And I'm sitting there like, what am I saying? Wait a minute, I'm talking, but I don't know what's coming out my mouth. I was like, okay. And then I started trying to sing again. And I guess God was like, I don't want you to sing. I want you to talk. And every time I tried to sing, and then I said, forget it. I just went on surrender. I got to talking and singing a little bit, talking, singing. I'm like, what is going on? And before I knew it, I had walked. I got done. I went into the fellowship hall, and I was sitting there shaking. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? And that's when I never forget. Minister Edith,
Oh, Miss
Henderson.
Henderson, came to me. She said, Tina, I'm like, yeah. You all right? Yeah. She's like, you an evangelist? I even when people call me minister, I still kind of chuckle to myself because I'm like, no, I'm a singer. And she's like, oh, okay. And so after church was over, I noticed pastor had came. No, it was church was still going over. I finally got myself together, and I went and sat down in the congregation. I said, I can't believe what just happened. And and that at the time, I think I was still married. I think at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex looked at me and he said, "You did really good." I was like, "What did I do?" I could not. If somebody asked me, "What did I say?" I have no idea. And then there's one lady who I forgot her name. She was a little older. I think she's passed on. And I always looked up to her like she was like one of the, I'll call them some of them the guru of the Bible and stuff. Mm-hmm. She turned around and said, "Wow, you did excellent." And I was like, well, I don't know what I did, but okay. You know. And pastor gets up there he said, "Let's open the doors of the church." Nothing else to say. And what's said? I could not tell you what I said. Honestly. But whatever I said, I remember a person coming up and wanting to get their life over to God.
That's what it's all about.
And I said, what happened?
That's what it's all about.
And so
It wasn't about you.
Exactly. Yeah. But I wanted to know what happened. I was so surprised. God surprised me that day. I guess he said, you have an agenda what you want to do. But I'm in control of this. And after a while, I just surrendered and said, okay, God, whatever it is, I can't take this no more. Like somebody have a gag on you. Like every time I tried to sing to do what I was comfortable with, God was like, I'm gonna show you today.
God has a way of taking you out of your comfort zone.
And
yes, he does.
Yeah. So when it was an announcement about being doing a ministry course, you know, and it would be a commitment I think it was for a year. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, okay, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. They're gonna have that. See, still just not
denial.
I was like, oh, that's nice. They're gonna have that for people. I'm just sitting there. He kept announcing it every Sunday. I know. And how I kept squirming in my seat a little bit. I'm like, Lord, no, that ain't me. And finally I said, that's it. I can't. I'm just going to do the class. I'm going to do the course. I'm just going to do it. That was my attitude. Because that was never me. You know what I mean? So I tell Pastor, I said, Pastor? He's like, yeah. I said, I want to be in the class. I want to do it. He said, great, because you were one of the ones I knew was supposed to be in it.
Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I was so surprised because I'm just like, it's not me to go and talk in front of people. That was never me. I'm more of a laid back, okay, I'll lead that song, that's no problem. Choir director give me something, okay, I'll learn it. I was so used to just them whatever I was given from people. You know what I mean?
And it's interesting that you were taking whatever you were given from people, but when God started giving,
man, it was a scary step.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, this is something right now, and got in the class, and it reignited my joy of learning about God again. I thought about my mother.
Praise God.
And I thought about how the times I would see her preparing for her Sunday school classes. And when I was sitting there and studying, enjoying it, having tests, passing them, because I had a joy. It felt like my joy is coming back. Thank God, because I grew up in it. But when you really start working in your calling and really doing what God tells you to do, that the joy in your life comes back. And when you fight it so much because you have so much coming at you, just like I said, life be life in you. Like and you just don't have the energy. I mean, I'm telling you that when my mother passed, that was felt like a hole, like something was gone,
And God put that joy back down.
And I missed her so much, and I said, okay, and then when I went through the divorce, the bankruptcy, almost losing my house, it was a lot coming at me. And that year with that class, and then something else I had to be honest with, just out of hurt, being around the wrong type of men. It felt like it was a cleansing time for me.
Well, God did tell us, then in our weakness, His strength.
Yeah, and I'll never forget, it was like one guy who I was seeing, and I, talking to, and I called him and said, I'm running for God. I can't talk to you no more. Left a voice message and hung up, blocked his number, and kept it moving.
His strength made perfect.
Yeah. But it was, that class really helped me in so many ways.
Went all down in your spirit and in your soul,
Yes.
and restored the fruits of the Spirit, joy,
Yes.
overflowing and still overflowing today.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a wonderful testimony. Tina.
Float over here.
I'm catching a little bit of it over here. Tina, you are wonderful. I thank you for coming.
I thank you for your encouragement.
And that's all for our show today. Thank you so much, Tina. It has truly been a blessing having you with us. Remember, earth has no sorrow that heaven can't heal. We'll see you next week. God bless.
If you would like to help support this broadcast or become a sponsor, visit realtalktoday.com. Remember to join our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We would love to hear your thoughts of our show, so we look forward to hearing from you. If you're in the Ypsilanti, Michigan area and would like to be a part of our show, visit realtalktoday.com to find out how. Until next time, keep it real.